Welcome to our video on removing Kim Jong-un from power. Let's start with the question on everyone's mind: how could the dictator of North Korea be removed? If Kim Jong-un died from natural causes, his daughter Joey, who's only 10 years old, would replace him. Kim Jong-un seems to be preparing her for the role, taking her to parades and missile launches. Another possible successor is Kim Yo-jong, his sister, who's said to hate the USA even more than Kim Jong-un. But here's why you should be terrified of Kim Jong-un's sister. She's a ruthless woman in North Korea, managing Kim Jong-un's security and being present at almost every public appearance he makes. Experts believe she's the brains behind the regime, and if something happens to Kim, she will rule with an iron fist. In 2020, she threatened to destroy the border liaison office between North and South Korea, and just a few days later, the building exploded. She's more aggressive than Kim when it comes to missiles and South Korea. Now, let's talk about the possibility of a military coup. If Kim Jong-un is couped by his own military, Rape Pyeongchul, the highest-ranking member of the North Korean military, would take over. He's been around ever since Kim Jong-il was in power. That's Kim Jong-un's dad. Alternatively, the USA or another country might take over North Korea, and they'd likely put in one of their puppet leaders. But the fate of North Korea's leadership is uncertain, and any attempt to remove Kim Jong-un from power would be met with fierce resistance from the regime. The execution of Kim Jong-un's ex-girlfriend, Hyang Sun-wol, shows the brutality of the regime and the challenges involved in removing him from power. She was executed for appearing in some inappropriate films. However, a year after her execution was reported, Hyang Sun-wol appeared on TV, leading many to believe it was an old tape used to make people think she was still alive. We have obtained videos that were sneaked out of North Korea, which provide a glimpse into the harsh reality of life within the Hermit Kingdom. In one video, we see a North Korean man who swam for 6 hours in cold water, crawled through a tunnel, and crossed the heavily guarded Korean demilitarized zone to reach South Korea. His determination and courage to escape from North Korea are truly inspiring. Another video shows the harsh daily life of female North Korean soldiers who are forced to put up fences, work on farms, and carry firewood. They are under constant scrutiny from male guards and are not allowed to eat any of the food from the farms. We also have footage of North Korean smugglers who go to China to buy products and then sell them in North Korea. They can do this by paying corrupt border guards, which is a common way for people to escape from North Korea. We also have the story of a North Korean man who escaped from prison in China but was later caught by police. He wanted more prison time because he knew that if he was sent back to North Korea, his life would be in danger. Now, let's talk about Otto Warmbier, an American student who went on a trip to North Korea in 2016. Otto, like any other tourist, wanted to take back a unique souvenir from his trip. He snuck into a staff-only area of his hotel and took a propaganda poster. But what he thought was a cool souvenir turned out to be a grave mistake. 2 guards arrested him at the airport before he could leave the country. Otto was then taken to a press conference where he had to confess his crimes. He was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor, which he had to serve at a North Korean prison for 1.5 years. The US government made a deal to get him free, but he passed away a few days later in a hospital. Photos that were once deleted from the internet showed the grim reality of North Korea's electricity shortage and lack of food. One photo shows a man collecting grass to eat, while another shows North Korean soldiers hitchhiking on an empty road because there aren't enough cars to transport them. In a shocking video, we see child workers being forced to dig snow at Kim Jong-un's luxury ski resort. These prisoners are guarded by soldiers, work 10 hours per day, and receive absolutely no money. Next, we have the story of Kim Jong-nam, eldest son of Kim Jong-il, former supreme leader of North Korea. Kim Jong-nam was supposed to take over from his father, but his arrest in Japan for using a fake passport in 2001 embarrassed his family so much that he was disowned. This paved the way for Kim Jong-un to take over his elder brother as the supreme leader. In 2017, Kim Jong-un assassinated Kim Jong-nam to cement his power. Have you ever wondered why gas station attendants in North Korea are almost always beautiful women? Well, the reason is darker than you might think. The country has very few cars, and most people can't afford them except for the rich men. This is why many attractive North Korean women get jobs at gas stations. They hope to find a rich and powerful man who can give them a better life. Women in North Korea lack equal rights and often work on farms for low pay. Meeting a rich man at a gas station might be the only way for them to escape their miserable life. Now, let's talk about Matthew Miller, a man who deliberately got himself arrested in North Korea. In 2014, he traveled to North Korea intending to get arrested. He tore up his visa and was arrested by North Korean police. Miller was sentenced to 6 years of hard labor, but he claimed that this had been his plan all along. He wanted to see just how bad the North Korean prison camps were and show the world the injustices that the North Korean people have to suffer every day. After spending 212 days in a North Korean prison camp, he was finally released. But was he brave or foolish? You decide. Next is about North Korean hackers. North Korea has its hacking group known as the Guardians of Peace, which is a part of the North Korean military. They started in 2009 by hacking many South Korean websites, banks, and ATMs. In 2014, they hacked Sony Pictures because of a movie called The Interview. They even created a ransomware named WannaCry in 2017, which affected individuals, businesses, and hospitals. They've also hacked cryptocurrency wallets and exchanges and stolen around $300 million worth of Bitcoin. In March 2022, they hacked a game named Axie Infinity and stole $625 million. This one shows a heartbreaking scene of a family trying to escape North Korea. This family was attempting to get into the Japanese embassy, which is considered Japanese soil. The two men managed to get through, but the woman and her child did not. They were stopped by guards and taken back into North Korea. As we all know, the punishment for trying to escape North Korea is life in prison. Unfortunately, according to one expert, there's a good chance this woman and her child are no longer alive. Our next video showcases a public trial in North Korea. These public trials are meant to scare criminals and everyone else. The person on trial was a student who owned various South Korean movies. Just for owning these movies, they were sentenced to prison. Can you imagine? Being imprisoned for simply owning a movie. Now, we take you inside a North Korean prison camp with secret footage. You will see people loading food onto a truck to be sent to the city. You will also see inmates marching and digging in frozen soil and inmates being made to carry very heavy logs. In North Korea, everyone has to join the military, and you don't even get paid for your service. All this while Kim Jong-un has a yacht and a mansion. Female North Korean soldiers lead an even worse and more terrifying life. Finally, we have the most threatening part of this video. North Korea just passed a brand new law. The law says they will launch nukes at the USA if anything happens to Kim, even if they're not sure the USA is responsible. This means that if Kim Jong-un passes away, then nukes will be launched. This would also apply if Kim Jong-un was incapacitated, for example, if he was knocked unconscious during a war. To make things even scarier, North Korea has been supporting Russia in the Ukraine conflict. Russia has brought millions of rockets and shells from North Korea. Many believe that if things escalate, North Korea could get involved in this war, potentially bringing us closer to World War III.